as here we go. We are going to predict the rest of the NBA season. The Celtics will play the Mavericks, and I think my Celtics will be able to get the win. The Pelicans, Mavericks. I think the Mavericks will get that. The Bulls and the Mavericks, the Nuggets, the Suns. Mavericks, Clippers, Mavericks, Pelicans. The Pelicans are off to a slow start, which I'm honestly surprised about. I think the Mavericks, I think Luka's overrated in my opinion, but I know a lot of people disagree with me. I just don't see how he's good. Wait, my bad. I don't see why he gets the hype. 76ers. As you'll see who I think will win the finals. And you are probably expecting me to pick the Nets and Mavericks. Nets and Lakers, my bad. And you may be right. Or you may be wrong. You'll just have to wait and see. I generally don't think those two are going to be in the finals. Because at this rate, Kyrie is not I think you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't think YouTube will allow me to say it. Irving is not V'd yet. And we have seen that the Nets have struggled without Kyrie. And if Kyrie doesn't get V'd, he's going to be out for a lot of the season. And maybe the restrictions of the V in New York City will get changed. And Irving will be able to play during the playoffs. But until then, I don't know. And the Lakers are struggling as well. And I'm going to say it's because, one, most of their players are old. And two, not a lot of chemistry. You need chemistry playing basketball. Can't play with people that you never played with before. So, and the Pelicans, I don't know how long Zion's going to be out. And I don't know how long Ingram's going to be out. Hopefully Ingram is back soon for you Pelicans fans. And Williamson. Williamson's probably the more important player for this team. I shouldn't say probably. He is. And once we get to the Clippers, I'll talk about them. I'll talk about every team as I predict their season. But the Pelicans, I think they might make a move during the deadline. I don't think they're going to get Ben Simmons. I could see the Pelicans going out and trying to get a good point guard. They could probably go trade for Kobe White. Probably not, though, because he's young. I don't know who they would get, but I think they're going to go out and try and get a point guard during the offseason. The deadline, which is probably what they should do. Because the Pelicans aren't good at the point guard position. Okay, now the Spurs, this team is not going to be good. They're just not going to be good. The Spurs are one of the youngest teams in the NBA. Same with the Rockets. I'm pretty sure they're the youngest team in the NBA. And I think the Spurs are going to get a top 5 pick. As there will be a part 2 of this series, maybe, of the draft lottery. Maybe. I got to think about that. But, yeah. 21-61 for the Spurs. We go to the Rockets, and I really do like this Rockets team. Now, are they good enough to make a playoff spot? No. But if they get into, like, the 10th seed, don't be surprised. This team is really young, and I mean really young. So we'll see what they can do about that. But other than that, this team isn't really talented. John Wall, I don't know if he's going to be moved anytime soon. He isn't going to play for the Rockets until they trade him. Which, I don't know about that one. But, yeah. 27-55 for the Rockets. That concludes that division. Now we got this division. I don't know what division it is. But let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Utah always does good during the regular season, and then come playoff time, they just are bad. Well, I can't say they're bad, they just don't live up to expectations. As last year they were 51-21, I'm pretty sure. Getting eliminated round 2. So, yeah. The Jazz just performed bad in the playoffs. Will it change? Maybe. It could change. And now let's talk about the Nuggets. I don't know when Murray's going to be back. I'm going to assume he'll be back towards the beginning of the playoffs. And I'm assuming he'll be back for, I'm going to say, round 2 of the playoffs. I'm going to say round 2 of the playoffs for Murray being back. Now, I could be wrong. I probably am. He might be out until the conference finals, or he might even be back before the second round. But the Nuggets, they could make some noise when they get Murray back. So don't be surprised if you see the Nuggets in that NBA Finals position. Trailblazers, I don't know. This is definitely, I said this last year, but I'm still going with it. If the Blazers don't do much during the season, I don't think Lillard's going to be on the team no more. We said this last year, he's still on the team. And honestly, Lillard, you are how old? Almost 33, 32? You're in your 30s, and the, what are they called? The Trailblazers haven't done anything to help you. They've gotten new players that aren't going to help you. Players that can knock down shots for you, but aren't going to help you. So, I think Lillard is going to be gone this offseason. Now, I won't be surprised if it doesn't happen, because it probably won't happen. But we'll see. The Timberwolves are definitely going to do way better than this. I think, now let's talk about the Timberwolves. They could be a dark horse in the playoffs. So, not the Lakers, what are they called? The Timberwolves could be a dark horse in the playoffs. They can make some noise in the playoffs. But they got to make the playoffs in order to do that. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They might be at the 10 seed. So here we go. I think the Thunder, we know this team is bad. We know this team is bad. We don't expect anything coming from this Thunder team. So I don't think they're going to do good. And I don't think anyone else thinks they're going to do good either. The Suns, can they be back in the NBA Finals? Yes. But with the Lakers probably going to be healthy. And by the playoffs, the Lakers probably will have lots of chemistry by then. They'll be used to be playing with each other. And it's playoff LeBron. Like, come on. And Kawhi will be back for the Clippers. The Warriors are going to be back. So don't be surprised if they don't make the finals. And I don't think they're going to. Could they? They definitely could. But with all these teams in the West, with like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors healthy, the Jazz, it's going to be tough for them to do something in the playoffs. So, I don't know. 41-31 record for the Lakers. What will the Warriors do? Clay will be back around Christmas time, I'm pretty sure. Or it might be after the, what is it called? All-Star break. Don't know why I couldn't think of the name. Which, we don't know if Clay's going to be back to his normal ways he was before his injuries. I love Clay, so I hope he is back to normal. But we don't know. He's coming off of 2 serious injuries in back-to-back years, so it's going to be tough. I don't know if he's going to be back to normal. We'll see. So now the Clippers, they're going to be out. They're going to be without Kawhi Leonard for all the regular season. And I don't think he'll be back until like the second round of the playoffs. Maybe the beginning of the playoffs. Yeah, I think it's the beginning of the playoffs. So that's going to affect the Clippers' seeding. It's going to affect it. Now, could the Clippers shock people and still be a top seed in the West? Definitely. But who knows? Without Kawhi, it's going to be tough. So, as we got the Kings, will their playoff drought end this year? It definitely could with this roster. This roster is definitely improved. This roster could make some noise in the seeding. I don't think they're going to make much noise in the playoffs, because this team is just not talented enough, not much experience in the playoffs. So it's going to be tough for them to do things in the playoffs with a lack of experience. That'll do the West. So now we go to the East. We got the Miami Heat. This roster is way better than last year. Actually, I can't say it's way better than last year. The only main player that he added was Kyle Lowry. And getting PJ Tucker to come off the bench is a pretty good addition. But I don't know why people are hyping up this Heat team. People acting like the Heat completely changed their roster and got way better. They really didn't. They really didn't get much better. They didn't make much moves. They got Kyle Lowry, and that's about it. But I just don't see how they're going to be a top seed. And with the East getting more stacked, with the defending champions, the Hawks, defending champions, the Bucks. The Hawks are here, the 76ers, the Nets, the Celtics, the Bulls getting better. The East is getting more loaded. And I don't think the Heat are better than the Hawks, Celtics, Nets, Bucks. I don't think they're better. I don't think they're better than the Bulls. I don't know. I don't think they're a good team. Actually, I'm not going to say I don't think they're a good team. They're a good team. I just don't think they're going to do as good as people think. So here we go with the Wizards. Their roster's completely changed. They got Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford. He was there last year, so I don't know why I mentioned his name. We'll see if Deni Avdija takes a step forward. Spencer Dinwiddie coming off his torn ACL. We'll see how he does. But this Wizards team is better than last year. And they could sneak into the playoffs. Don't be surprised if they do sneak into the playoffs. They're definitely capable of doing it. So now we got the Hornets. LaMelo Ball. That's all I got to say. LaMelo Ball, when you got LaMelo Ball on your team, you're going to be good. Sort of. The Hornets, they can make some noise come playoff time. But I don't know what's going to happen for the Hornets. It's just a matter of what's going to happen. Is LaMelo going to take a step forward? So now we got the Magic. I like this Magic team. I think their roster is pretty good. I don't understand this roster being so... People saying this roster is bad. I don't think this roster is bad. I think this roster is extremely underrated, honestly. You got Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter, Franz Wagner. Who else is on that team? I can't remember off the top of my head, but this roster is really good. I don't see how people think this team is going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. I've seen some people say that the Magic are going to be the worst team in the East. Oh, under the Pistons and Cavaliers. I just don't see that happening. But here we go with the Brooklyn Nets, honestly. Are they going to struggle without Kawhi? Kyrie Irving? Yes. They're going to struggle. But are they good enough to be good without Kyrie? Absolutely. Now we got my Celtics. I could see the Celtics season going either way. A complete fail or complete success. Now, I hope, as a Celtics fan, it's the second one, a complete success, us holding the trophy at the end of the season. But our point guard position is not really good. We got Dennis Schroeder, which he could definitely do something with that position. And then Peyton Pritchard, which I love Peyton Pritchard. And who else do we got at point guard? Romeo Langford. That point guard position is definitely our weakest spot. Maybe the center position's worse, but I think the point guard position is worse. I think the 76ers are going to struggle without Ben Simmons. Now, so far this season, they have looked pretty good without him. But we are like 10 games into the season out of 72. We still got plenty of season left. But who knows what the Knicks will do. I mean, not the Knicks, whatever, the team I was just talking about. The 76ers. The Raptors, this team is good. I could see them making a playoff push. I could see them sneaking into a playoff position. Now, will they? I don't think they will. But is it possible? Definitely. So now we got our final division with the defending champs, the Bucks. Since they're the division champs, they're going to have lots of expectations. Are they going to be able to beat the Nets in the playoffs? What is going to happen in the playoffs for them? I just think they're going to do good. They're going to be a contender. Obviously, they're going to be a contender. They just won the finals. So I really don't see why they won't be a contender. So here we go with the Chicago Bulls. This roster is way better than last year. Don't be surprised if the Bulls make some noise in the playoffs. Bulls basketball is back. I think they're going to be a top 6 seed in the East. That team is really good. I like the team. So here we go with the Indiana Pacers. I think they're going to, in my opinion, I think the Pacers are going to be the biggest disappointment of the season. They could do something in the play. I mean, the Pacers could probably make the playoffs. But I think they're going to be the biggest disappointment of the season, and the Pistons are definitely not going 10-32. This Pistons team is gonna do something in the play. And this Pistons team is gonna have a good future. Don't worry, Pistons fans, but it's not time yet. So as we look at the conference standings, looking at the West, 1 seed being the Phoenix Suns. Could definitely happen. Won't be surprised if it doesn't happen. 2nd seed going to be the Utah Jazz. Again, the Jazz are a regular season performing team. The Nuggets, the 3 seed, they're going to have Jamal Murray back for the playoffs. The Warriors, they're going to be back with Curry. Lakers, obviously, Trailblazers, Clippers, Grizzlies, and then in the play-in will be the Mavericks and Pelicans. And the 11th seed will be the Timberwolves. The Kings' playoff drought continues. Rockets, Spurs, and then Thunder with the worst record in the West. And now we got the Eastern Conference standings. The Nets as the 1 seed, obviously the Bucks at the 2 seed. Wow. Celtics as the 3 seed. I think I overachieved my own team. The Bulls at 50 wins. The Hawks at 47 wins. At the 5th seed, the Knicks with 47. The Heat with 47. The 76ers with 47. And then the Hornets with 44. And the Wizards with 42. Those will be the playing teams as well. And yeah, you guys might be screaming at me saying, why are the Sixers the 8 seed? A 4-way tie. And with the tiebreaker, the 76ers are the worst team out of all of them. I don't know. Look at this Eastern Conference. It's competitive 3 through 8. Even the 9 seed's competitive. So here are the play-in tournament for the East. The Heat will play the 76ers. Then the Hornets will play the Wizards. I think the Heat will win the first playing game. They'll be the 7th seed. The 76ers will be the winner of the Hornets and Wizards game. And I think the Hornets will win that. And then the 76ers will win that game to be the 8th seed. And I think the Clippers and Grizzlies will get into the playoffs. As we look at the rest of the standings, the Pacers, Raptors, Magic, Cavaliers, and Pistons with the worst record in the NBA. As here we go into round 1 of the playoffs. As we are going to start with the West, Suns, Grizzlies. I think the Suns will take game 1. They'll take game 2. They'll go to Memphis, split, and then they will beat the Grizzlies in 5. Warriors, Lakers. Clay's going to be back. This is going to be a great series. But I think the Warriors are going to prevail in 6. Nuggets, Trailblazers. The Trailblazers. Jamal Murray is going to be back for the Nuggets. And honestly, I don't think the series is going to be much competitive. I think the Nuggets are going to win in 6. Now we got the series that could be an upset. Kawhi Leonard, I think he'll be back in the middle of the series. I don't know. But I got the Clippers winning game 1. Utah Clippers. Clippers. One. Yeah. Game 7. And I think the Clippers are going to win it. Now we got the Nets and 76ers. This could be a 7-game series. Don't be surprised if it is. And I think it will be. And I think the Nets will win in 7. No. Yeah. Now we got the Bulls and Hawks. I think the Hawks team is going to be able to prevail. They have experience, unlike the Bulls. And honestly, I'm really close to switching it to the Bulls, but I'm going to go with the Hawks. 6. Celtics, Knicks. I think the Celtics are going to be able to win this series in another 6-game series. Bucks, Heat. Another rematch of these two. Another series going to 6. So we got round 2. Phoenix, Golden State. And I think Golden State is going to go to the conference finals. And then Denver, they're going to have Murray back. They'll win in 6. The Nets will play the Hawks, and the Nets will win. And then the Celtics play the Bucks. And I think the Bucks will win in a 7-game series. As we got the conference finals, Nuggets, Warriors, Mets, Bucks. And I think this series is going to 7, and I think the Warriors will win it. And then the Nets, Bucks, Nets, Bucks. I think the Bucks will win again for that series. And then the Bucks, Warriors, Warriors, Bucks, Warriors. Warriors are my pick to win the finals. So until next time, peace.